Riv, take us to your academy. Give us the two things you want to talk about.
Lock in, Riv.
Oh man,
First
of all, I want to give a shout out to my brothers, man. You got to find brothers in the world that motivate you as much as they do. They've been pushing this for a while. Joel texting me on the side, Drew begging me in the car, Dell's keep asking, when are you gonna do it? When are you gonna do it? But today I'm gonna talk about Rob Dillingham and the Cavs. And I think Rob Dillingham is the first guy I'm gonna talk about because a lot of the noise has been, this draft being weak and this draft not having that star power. But I don't think it's weak in the sense of as a ton of good players. I think this is a role player draft. I think you can get guys that are good in the first 10 picks just as good in the late. And I think Rob Dillingham is getting the hype he gets because, unfortunately, this isn't the star potential draft. But what's impressed me about him is his speed, his handle, his steady improvement throughout the year. He's a creative ball handler. The guy, he works well in the pick and roll. His burst after, that screen is really good. His pull-up shot is great. He has a peculiar game where he can come off the bench, he can do his thing, he can start, he can do his thing. Kentucky has a collection of guys that are potentially going to go to the draft this year. They got a European that I unfortunately cannot say his name. I wish I could. I'm not good at names. Then they got Reed Shepard. Antonio Reeves is a good player. Justin Edwards was supposed to be the prime guy for them. DJ Wagner has been gearing it up lately. But Rob Dillingham has been the guy that's kind of been the guy that's popped in that little rotation because he's the guy that has, the scoring upside, the microwave ability, the playmaking has improved on every possession. He reminds me, and me and Joel was talking about this last week. I saw a lot of Brandon Jennings, Darius Garland, and him, Lou Williams. Like, he has that type of speed, that type of looseness with his handles. Some guys dribble it loose and they can get it back. The different type of handles. But I think Rob, he's interesting because I think in a regular draft, he might not go top 5. I think because this draft lacks that star power, he might be able to go top 5. And in this draft, it's very different and hard to kind of find a place where a guard like that can go somewhere and can just do his thing. Darius Garland, love him to death. He kind of got lucky. Cleveland didn't have a point guard. He went there. He had one of the worst rookie seasons we've seen, got better the next year, but they brought in, they had Jared Allen. They brought in Evan Mobley. They brought in big men that complemented his game, which helped him improve, of course. So there isn't many, and I tried really hard, there isn't many spots in the league that kind of really fit for Rob Dillingham. I thought about the Spurs. I think if they might have 2 top 10 picks in case Toronto doesn't fall that bad. They might have 2 top 10 picks. Isaiah was supposed to be the one to go in front of Rob, but Rob has been gaining traction. He's the better shooter, better scorer, in my opinion. Isaiah just has an NBA body. He's much stronger. I think he's a little bit quicker with the ball, especially in transition. But Rob, I think he can go to San Antonio, whatever pick they have. That could be a option player when Wemby. Playing with Devin Vassell, that could be good. And they need a point guard. They need a point guard. I thought of Washington, but I'm really scared for any rookie that goes to Washington just because they don't have a real foundation over there. They haven't had any real development. Their most tenured player there, I hope I said it right.
Nope.
Tenured. Fuck, we were close.
Close, for sure.
It's Denny Avdia. So and he's young.
He got traded
he's really, really young. They just paid him. So I don't know. I don't want him to go there. Another team I was thinking of was Utah. They don't have a point guard. Keontae George has been getting minutes at the point guard spot, and I think bringing in Rob with a team that has Laurie, and I think he'll still be there next season. They got Taylor Hendricks. I don't know if they're gonna keep Walker Kessler. They got a lot of guys there. That could be a team that has been great with development, has been great with putting guys in position to succeed. Rob Dillingham, that's a place that he can go to. But I think Rob, he's definitely in a difficult spot because there's places he can go, there's places he cannot go. There's times where in this draft, NBA is all about the situation. I think Rob's game definitely fits a lot of situations because he can be a microwave scorer, but to reach that star potential, that really puts him in that all-star caliber place, I think San Antonio would be the place, or Utah. But, shifting over, because I remember you had a little conversation where you were hyping up the Knicks, and then Drew was talking about the Bucks. He was talking about Indiana. And I just found it funny that the Cavs never got into the conversation.
Oh, what the fuck?
Please let me talk.
It's River Academy.
Yeah, you're not invited.
You got to sit down and learn, buddy.
Jonathan Isaac blocked Wemby, by the way. It was insane.
What the fuck? What?
Yeah. And Wemby was up there.
Kuminga just threw one of the greatest lobs I've ever seen, by the way.
He's one of the greatest.
Also, Myles Garrett won D-Boy.
Oh, okay. Shout out.
Stroud Rookie of the Year.
Did I pick Myles to win D-Boy?
Might have.
Oh, my God. If I did, I won. But to talk about Cleveland, you mentioned the Knicks as having a deep roster. The Cavs have a deep roster, and I think Darius Garland and Evan Mobley's injuries kind of gave them their blessing in disguise because JB Bickerstaff had to go. He had to go deep into the rotation. You know, he had to go really deep, putting in guys like Sam Merrill, if I'm saying his last name correctly. Yeah, Dean Wade coming up, him being a 3-and-D player.
He's a solid ball
Isaac
player.
Okoro developing that
There he
three
is.
ball and being, listen, this is no joke. He's been one of the best defenders in the league this year on the wing as a guard defender. You slept, man.
Against second unit players, I'd hope so.
No, he plays.
I'm just
He
being a
guards.
bastard.
Please don't sleep. The continuity there has been there, and I think JB Bickerstaff, he's talked about he doesn't like to go 10 deep. He prefers to go 9 deep, but with the guys that I mentioned have been playing so well, you know, he might have to go 10 deep. And when Garland, he's getting back.
How about
He's getting his reps back for sure, you know, dealing with an injury. Mobley, him being 5 or 6 from the three-point line, him getting the stroke back, him being more aggressive when they come back. The Cleveland Cavaliers are a dangerous team, you know, and I think they're different from last year because you need adversity. Sometimes as a young team, when Donovan Mitchell got there, this was a young, fresh team that just lost back-to-back games in the play-in. You know, they lost in Brooklyn. They lost the team to Brooklyn. Then they choked in Atlanta or at Cleveland. I forgot where it was, but they choked against the Atlanta Hawks. Trae Young had a masterclass performance. So this team is dealing with that. Donovan Mitchell gets there. They make the splash move. We didn't see it coming, of course. Donovan Mitchell heads over to Cleveland. And this is a young, fresh team with no adversity, no experience, kind of just going away. And they kind of had a great regular season last year, you know, playing well. Garland was well. Donovan Mitchell was well. Jaren Allen was great. Mobley was in DPOY talks. Then they go into the playoffs, and they kind of get their ass beat. And I think that was the wake-up call they needed. And even then, they seen in the beginning more adversity. You know, Darius went down. Mobley went down. This team was banged up in the beginning. And then Donovan Mitchell just put on his backpack and said, I'm one of the best players in the league. Let me remind y'all what playoff Donovan Mitchell used to look like. And he went out there. He improved his playmaking. He's locking down on the defensive end. Offensively, he's just been on a tear. And I think that's what they needed. But they also needed role players to step up. I mean, this team is just – the adversity has only made this team better. And I think the Cleveland Cavaliers are legit. I think we can remember last year, and that's why I didn't – give too much pushback when Dell said, you know, last year is still in your mind. Because I think last year can 100% be in your mind. I think you can definitely look at last year, the way the Knicks handled them. Randall didn't play well. I believe that series, he was very much either hobbled or they just locked him down, and the Knicks just completely destroyed them. I think you can look at that, and that can be a real concern. But I think you can look at this team, look at the role players that they have around them, look at the guys that have improved. Okoro, Sam, Niang, like Max Strus as a player. Like this team, they don't miss a single miscommunication, a single coverage. Like they are locked in defensively on damn near every single play. They are there at every moment. And then on offense, they know their roles. And when you know your roles from guy 1 to guy 10, that makes it so much more easier on the offensive end to get to your spots, work with the star player. The only concern I have for them is how Darius Garland's going to operate. You know, he's been coming back. He's been on minutes restriction as of late. Has been playing up and down. You know, starting this year, the three ball wasn't there, but he improved in the paint as a finisher in the mid-range. He's been shooting at an elite rate this year. It's just all about that three ball. If Darius Garland can be that number 2 guy for them, if he can get into his game and be that complementary piece, I believe they have the role players to make the ECF. I truly believe in Cleveland Cavaliers. I think they're a team that's legit. They've been slept on a lot because last year is still in a lot of people's minds. But I think the Cleveland Cavaliers, 1 through 10, they have a deep roster. They have the collection of shooters. They have the 2 big man lineup that can give the Bucks trouble, that can cause some trouble for other teams like Indiana, like the Knicks. And I think offensively, with Donovan Mitchell playing like this, if Darius Garland can figure out his role and be that complimentary number 2 guy, I think the Cavaliers can go to the ECF.
I like
Talk
it.
your shit.
I like it. I like Rob Dillingham.
Only reason I'm not answering is because he took a shot at me for not acknowledging them when they simply just were a list of the teams that I was going over.
You didn't acknowledge
Screw
them.
you. I said, oh.
Probably the 3rd or 2nd best team in the East.
You could argue they're the 2nd best team in the East.
Them and the Knicks been on fire.
Bro,
15-1, 16-1.
They have the 4th best net rating against top 10 teams.
only reason why he can eat me is because we literally just had a conversation about the Cleveland Cavaliers yesterday. Whenever we went to the basketball game, I said, yo, bro, the Cavaliers, they're here. You said, oh, you're back on?
We did. Because it took you a minute.
I had to see them do it, and they've lost 1 game in their last 15.
It took you 15.
Well, obviously, we haven't spoken about it in a while, but they've been on an insane tear.
Yeah, because you were done with them. You thought there was
so were
no
you.
way.
You also did too. I remember your tweet.
Yeah, I don't care. It doesn't
That was
matter
always
to me.
you.
Yeah,
I'm not asking to be on the train.
you can't.
I'm not on the train. I'm just acknowledging
I don't
that
need
they're
you
playing
there.
well.